Regulation MB features a few really interesting new Mega Evolutions. Swampert, Metagross, Barbaracle, Pyroar, Blaziken, the list goes on forever. But one Mega that stands out to me is Dragalge, a Poison and Dragon type Pokemon that's best suited for Trick Room. So here's the idea. When Dragalge Mega Evolves, it gains access to the ability Regenerator, which heals 33% of its total HP when switching out. This pairs super nicely with two moves, Draco Meteor and Flip Turn. Draco Meteor is one of the best burst attacking moves in the game, with an astonishing base 130 power. The downside is that the user takes a -2 to their special attack. Now, Flip Turn allows Dragalge to do a little bit of damage while switching out. And now you can probably see the idea coming together. After Dragalge lowers its stats with Draco Meteor, I can use Flip Turn to simultaneously activate Regenerator while resetting Dragalge's lowered special attack. To round out the set, I'll use Protect and Sludge Bomb since they're Dragalge's best moves. And since I'll be using Trick Room as my main strategy, all of Dragalge's points can go into power and bulk. And with enough points, Dragalge can take Jolly Life Orb Stomping Tantrum from Garchomp, this being the strongest ground type attack that I'm expecting to see. Now, to take any stronger physical attacks, I'll need Intimidate, which is why I'm adding Incineroar to the team. But this isn't your usual supporting set. One of the biggest struggles with Trick Room is both getting into Trick Room safely and then getting offensive positioning. Right now, Incineroar is commonly used to help set Trick Room safely using Fake Out, and I intend to do the same thing. But right now, Kingambit is one of the strongest Pokemon, and the Define ability turns Incineroar's Intimidate into an attack boost. So I'll use Max Attack, Brave, Charcoal, Flare Blitz to remove Kingambit in one turn very consistently. This added power makes Incineroar stronger offensively in Trick Room, which also gives the team a little bit more depth. But what's Trick Room without a setter? To actually twist the dimensions, I'll use Farigiraf, who is by far the most consistent Trick Room setter right now. Armor Tail is a broken ability that prevents important priority moves like Fake Out and Sucker Punch from being used. For this team, I'll be running a pretty standard set with enough bulk to take Kingambit attacks pretty consistently, as well as a Citrus Berry to increase its longevity. Now, Farigiraf has two important tech options. One is Twin Beam, which is used to make sure that I KO Sneasler in one turn regardless of the item that it's holding. And the other is Helping Hand, which can be used to make my Pokemon do absurd damage. Next, I'll add Hisuian Decidueye, who provides amazing straightforward offense with the Life Orb. Most importantly, Decidueye adds Triple Arrows, which is crucial fighting type damage that I need to break through Archaludon quickly. From there, Leaf Blade is a strong stab move with no drawbacks, and Sucker Punch gives me a good option when I'm outside of Trick Room. Lastly, the stats ensure that Decidueye can survive one modest Dazzling Gleam from Mega Floette, while still having respectable output. Now, this interaction isn't likely to come up, but in a pinch, it could be massive to take an extra hit. Since I'm still scared of Archaludon, I'll add Sylveon as my next pick. Pixelate is a ridiculous ability that turns normal type moves into the fairy type and gives a 20% power boost. This turns moves like Hyper Voice into something like Giga Dazzling Gleam when paired with its item, the Fairy Feather, which also gives fairy moves a 20% power boost. For this team, I'll use Calm Mind with Moonblast, Hyper Voice, and Protect, since getting a Calm Mind boost or two can be massive against Pokemon like Charizard and Floette. Lastly, I'll add Basculegion, holding my favorite item of all time, the Iron Ball. The idea is that with a relatively low speed stat and an already great damage output, Basculegion can hold the Iron Ball to half its speed for the Trick Room. This takes Basculegion from a speed stat at 88 to 44, which is actually lower than common Trick Room sweepers like Abominable. The moves are easy. Protect, Wave Crash, Last Respect, and Aqua Jet are all of Basculegion's best moves because they let it do big damage fast, which is exactly what I need from it. And Adaptability is used to amplify the sheer power of Basculegion's super strong moves. Now, this level of bulk saves Basculegion from moves like Thunderbolt from Rotom, as well as Sucker Punch from Chople Kingambit. Like Decidueye, these situations aren't very likely to come up, but it does give me some insurance, and it lets me use Basculegion more liberally, even when Trick Room isn't set up. Can hard Trick Room work in Champions? Let's find out. Welcome to Hard Trick Room, the VGC show where I play Trick Room. What are we looking at here? I think we're looking at a pretty standard approach to the game, because the whole team looks pretty weak to Sylveon generally. Why really? Are you kidding me? What is this? Stop this. Now I've got to reselect it all. I'm in a bit of a bad mood. I'll say it. I started the day at like 1950s on the ladder, and now I'm 1845. I'm very annoyed because it feels like I've basically lost every game today, which I probably have actually lost most of my games today. And even the games that I thought I should win, I haven't been winning, so on a team like this, you're looking at realistically bulky Kingambit, maybe 1 or 2 speed, but you're also looking at 2 Pokemon that can't really knock out Incineroar very quickly. So I'll learn from past mistakes, and I will just make sure I get rid of this Kingambit and then go for Trick Room. I am running the risk with Encore Delphox, but the dominant set right now is Setup, primarily Calm Mind and Nasty Plot. I don't think there's a reason for this team to deviate. Yep, they just go for the Heat Wave. I'll feel a little silly if I move first with Incineroar, but I think it's worth that risk to ensure that I get a Trick Room. They crit? Really? Okay. They do move first with Kingambit, so I was right to protect Farigiraf there. But for my patience, I am rewarded the Kingambit. Probably the scariest Pokemon on their team, to be honest. It is occurring to me that I could have just faked out, and then it doesn't really matter what the speed interaction is, since you just fake out Kingambit, go into Trick Room, there's nothing they can do. I feel like I probably shouldn't be sacking Incineroar here. I think switch to Sylveon also isn't amazing, but Incineroar, well, yeah. There's 2 ways of thinking about this. I've got the Dragalge in the back to burst through whatever they might have left, but Incin is really good for taking out... Actually, yeah, you know what? Actually, I don't need Sylveon to win this anymore. Kingambit was kind of the big reason to keep bringing it. So was the Staraptor. Now that both of those Pokemon aren't in play, there's a lot less weight that I need to put in keeping Sylveon super healthy. Also, that doesn't actually do a ton of damage to Sylveon. EQ comes through. We're not looking at a KO on either, realistically, because they're both pretty bulky, aren't they? Yeah. So I am spending a lot of resources to get this position, but I have set up a place where I can now threaten the Garchomp off the field. I mean, in an ideal world, you're looking at probably just Hyper Voice, Helping Hand, realistically. Maybe you Twin Beam for extra crit chances, question mark, but I don't think that's actually worth it. Because I could go for like the switch play and try to keep Farigiraf safe, but I don't think that actually helps me here, since I don't rely on Sylveon to KO Garchomp, I rely on Dragalge to do that. So if I can get Ince into the field, I can take out the Delphox, which didn't protect for the record, kind of crazy to me. And then, you know, you rely on Dragalge to beat -1 Garchomp, which is not a ridiculous thing to ask. Speaking of, that's kind of how this whole game is playing out. I am going to deviate slightly from that plan and bring Dragalge in now. It's not like it's the easiest position for Delphox or Garchomp here. I feel like there's a real chance that they try to... What do I do with Farigiraf here? That's the question. Since if I call Psyshock Earthquake, I take out Garchomp and I switch to Incineroar, then I pressure Delphox with 2 turns left, which is actually pretty good. And it also means that I'm not throwing away Farigiraf with no intentionality. I think this play probably still loses me the game because I've just given up so many resources to get into Trick Room when I didn't have to, because I could have just gone for Fake Out on turn 1. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20 there. But if it had been slower Kingambit, that also would have been in a tough spot. Draco Meteor connects. This is going to KO. Presumably. Thank you. We want to see a Psychic type move onto Dragalge. Also, the fact that Delphox hasn't protected yet, knowing that taking a big hit could be the end of the game, is certainly surprising. But Dragalge is built to take special hits pretty well. Special defense drop doesn't really matter here, since I just need to switch out no matter what. That's not ideal. Let me just say it. That is really not ideal. So I switch to Farigiraf, and I Throat Chop. Delphox is in range. If they do something silly, which I think they are kind of prone to doing at this point, then I'm probably fine. They do protect Delphox for the first turn ever. That's crazy on the turn that they have Fake Out pressure. They go for Fake Out? Okay. Someone tell me what the chef's cooking here, because I don't really know what they're going for. What I can do is I can just go for that Helping Hand throw chop. I should KO Delphox with Helping Hand. I thought I probably had the KO regardless, but I most definitely have it with Helping Hand, right? They don't go for the double, and that is Delphox. What I want to see is attack into the Farigiraf. I mean, this is also fine, because what I can do now is I can just kind of go Trick Room to set up Dragalge, and then I can't Parting Shot, which is annoying, but I can just Throw Chop to get some chip damage. Oh no, they took out Farigiraf. That's not ideal. Crit did not matter. What are we talking about here? Crit did not matter. Throw Chop. Honestly, that's okay damage. And we also know that they can't go for Parting Shot now, which I don't think actually matters here, but it is nice to know that they have one less options. What I really want is just to weaken this Incineroar a little bit and then click Sludge Bomb, Draco to take the KOs, since it's not at all over yet. There's always a chance that they land some crits and get some sneaky plays in. This is step one to making sure that I don't lose. I think step two is probably just a Parting Shot again. I think attacking into Incineroar at this point with my own Incineroar is just not that helpful. Yeah, especially when they're actually getting the KO reasonably quickly. That next Parting Shot does make a big difference. Because yeah, Incine's probably in range of Draco now, but I also don't know for sure that, actually no, with the Citrus Berry, they're definitely out of range. At this point, I don't think they KO Incineroar, so I can just keep sort of slow playing this until Incineroar's in range of Draco, which shouldn't be long. Okay, now that the Incineroar is in range of the Draco Meteor thanks to some Parting Shots and Protects, I can now just kind of all in to get rid of this Incineroar. Throw Shot comes through onto my Incineroar, does actually nothing, like legitimately nothing. Flare Blitz from my Incineroar comes through. Is that a critical hit? That did a lot of damage. Sludge Bomb turns out to be the much safer play to make here. Draco Meteor does connect onto the Incineroar. This game is over. Whew. A little bit closer than I'd like, but Delphox is a slightly tough matchup for this team. And I did play this in a way that was a little bit ill-informed because of previous experiences with King Gambit. But it did work out, and removing that King Gambit turn one made a big difference because they had a lot less options once you lose your setup piece early. Hoo-wee, this is not a good matchup. In theory, boosted Sylveon looks really, really great into this team, but how do you get Sylveon into position? How do you prevent Archaludon from going crazy? I think that's step one. I think if you can stop Archaludon from running away with this game, then the rest of it's probably achievable. I think the best combination of Pokemon to stop Archaludon from going crazy is not including my boy Dragalge, which is not nice. I think these four are the right four to bring. Because realistically, if I can get Decidueye into position and I can click, triple arrows 2 or 3 times, I'm looking at a good chance to critical hit, which will just bypass all of the boosts. And besides all of that, it does good damage in the first place, so I'm not that concerned. We're seeing Archaludon Sableye come in. Pretty much exactly what we were expecting. With Incineroar on the field, there's not a lot of pressure on the opponent's side of the field. They maybe feel okay going with Rain Dance Electro Shot, screens with Flash Cannon or Dragon Pulse, maybe Draco Meteor. These are all great options. I think given how little pressure I have and how easily they can mitigate some of that pressure, there's not a good reason for them to go for anything but max offense. In an ideal world, we're seeing like Light Screen Dragon Pulse, because then I get to put some damage up. Not some damage up, sorry. I get to pivot out for free and they're not getting a boost at the same time. They lock into Electro Shot without the rain. That's a choice, because that means they're not getting a boost. They're using a weaker non-stab move. And Sylveon has a free chance to Calm Mind, because after one Calm Mind, Sylveon becomes a total behemoth. The real issue with ye old Sylveon is that getting a position where you can Calm Mind safely is sometimes pretty difficult. But neutral Electro Shot? That does very little damage to +1 Sylveon. Assuming that it hits +1 Sylveon, They go for the light screen, that is what we're expecting. I'll need to spend another turn or two getting the hyper voice fully online. But the moment that it's online, you're just looking so ridiculously good. Special defense, it's into Incineroar. How much does this even do? Not much, to be entirely honest. From here, I feel pretty safe just to go for another Calm Mind and a Parting Shot play, because surely they're feeling a bit of pressure to deal with this Sylveon now, because Sylveon will likely be taking most, if not all, of the KOs. A lot of what I intend to do is get this position where I can click Hyper Voice twice and then win. Okay, so they protect our Caledon. That's definitely one of the plays of all time. They set up the Rain Dance, finally. But that's another turn where I'm just Calm Minding for free. So even if they go for Electro Shot, they're not going to do a lot of damage to Sylveon, so I struggle to see where they're going to be making ground, because I've effectively slashed the power of Flash Cannon down to effectively -1 on a neutral hit. Going for this next Parting Shot Calm Mind play will result in me being in a position where they're effectively hitting for resisted. And I'm trying to put an analogy here, and I'm realizing that math is actually really hard when you're talking. So I'm gonna cut myself off there. No more math. The point is they can't do anything here because Calm Mind goes up. That's the third Calm Mind. This Sylveon is going actually cray. Because what are they gonna do with our Caledon here? It's at -1. If they click Electro Shot, it's neutral. Regardless of what they're hitting, they're not hitting for a lot of damage. Trick Room has one turn after this, so I can go to Farigiraf. I don't think they actually have a way of beating me. They go for the Flash Cannon. It's at -1, and I have tons of special defense. So a lot of what I'm doing here is oriented on the idea that my best win con is to set the next Trick Room and then sweep, because they don't actually have a KO anywhere. Farigiraf protect. We're likely going to see our Caledon protect because I don't see why they would do anything else. Oh, wow. That's aggressive. To be quite frank, I don't know what they're going to do to Sylveon now. Like, Wave Crash probably does solid damage, but that does nothing. That just doesn't do damage. Not in real life. The Reflect wears off. The Twisted Dimensions return to normal. I still have Decidueye in the back. So I don't know that I actually need to rush to set Trick Room here. Well, I guess the flip side is, do they have any chance of denying Trick Room? I actually don't think they do. So I'm pretty safe just to protect Trick Room, aren't I? I was about to like cook super hard, switch to Incineroar, Hyper Voice, double knockout, boom, win. But how much does Swampert really do here? Like, it probably gets over 50%. That activates the berry. What good is that if I'm got a berry and our Caledon has no KO, right? Wave Crash into the Farigiraf. We kind of expected this, but it's doing a lot of damage, actually. That is a lot of damage. The real question is that -1 our Caledon range, though? Neutral Electro Shot. It's not a weak move, I'll say it. But I don't know that it has enough raw... It didn't go into the right target. I'm really hyping up this Caledon. It's not into the right target. Yeah, they're hosed. It's over. I'm gonna be so honest, it's so over. I spent this whole battle setting this one Hyper Voice up. Nothing takes Hyper Voice now. Oh, I should have checked the boost before they forfeited. It's like +4 Hyper Voice, +5 Hyper Voice, something like that. Something just absurd. Show me protect. Ah, they do protect. That's funny. Maybe they double protect. Nope, that's a dead Swampert. That thing's gone. Bye-bye. I mean, this is the power of Sylveon. Because what are you gonna do? Like, I'm not forced to hit our Caledon until I want to. What do they do about this? For the rest of the game, they have to contend with what? Yeah, +4 Sylveon, getting the Helping Hand boost, taking this move to some ridiculous degree of power, like, what, 4.5 times power, I think is where we're at? There's no world where anything is surviving this Hyper Voice. Nothing. You best hope that is a, what are we hoping for here? sturdy, I guess. Light Screen's not saving you. Trust me. Sableye, gone. Arcalodon, gone. Oh? Roselli Berry, maybe I spoke too soon. Nope, you're both gone. This Sylveon, if you can get this type of position where they can't actually damage the Sylveon in return, or where they just can't really do much to prevent you from setting up a bunch, Sylveon just goes crazy because then you have the Hyper Voice and it just does so much. If you thought you could forget it, that's the power of Sylveon. I do fear the opposing Incineroar a little bit, but I feel like a lot of my game plan should just be getting Sylveon and Dragalge to do their thing. I mean, I'd love to bring Basculegion just to have said I brought Basculegion. Is that the right strategy though? Probably not, to be honest. I think, oh, was that Fate trying to tell me that Basculegion was the way to go? Maybe it was, I don't know. I didn't go with Basculegion, so maybe Fate won't like me very much after this. Okay, so we do see the Zarina Raichu lead. That's not necessarily what we want to see, but it is what we expect to see. No fake out pressure on either side of the board. The real concern is what does this Raichu do to Farigiraf, to be honest? Because Zapcan is going to do tons of damage. I guess the flip side of being scared about Raichu is that I have a berry and Zarina's at -1, so I could probably just Flare Blitz Trick Room and then Flare Blitz the Zarina, and you just keep, you know, powering through this team. Obviously, I am running the risk of Taunt on the Zarina. I think that's a perfectly okay risk to take. Focus Blast onto the Incineroar, that's probably a KO. No, I live. Wow. We do see the taunt. It's a shame, but I don't need it. Flare Blitz, this is max adamant 252. That KOs Raichu easily. And that gives me a pretty safe path to bring my boy Dragalge to the field, no? Because one option that I have is just to bring Dragalge in and then go for Sludge Bomb into this arena, which then lets me use Trick Room later down the line. The real question is, what do they have in the back? I think we're probably looking at Basculegion, Incineroar, maybe Whimsicott, but not Frostlass. After taking out their Mega, I feel like they want to have the tempo with Basculegion. Is there any world where I don't switch out for Farigiraf here and just try to get a KO? I think there probably isn't any world where I do that, to be honest, because no, it should be Sludge Bombing, not Draco into Basculegion. I guess the concern is if I'm switching Sylveon in, I am taking a bunch of damage. Can I afford that damage? I think I might be able to. Since I could use, well, I have to then, I'll stay in. Mega, Sludge Bomb, Twin Beam. Because then what I can do is I can go, well, I've just taken a bunch of damage with Dragalge, so I'll switch and I'll put some damage down with the Farigiraf. Oh wow, it's Ice Fang. How much does that do? That must be not Life Orb then. Oh lord, that sucks. That really sucks, to be honest. Running into double ice coverage is kind of ridiculous. I get having one Pokemon that Life Orb Zarina with Taunt? What are we talking about? Dog, that's a little bit, that's kind of BS. In what world are you bringing Life Orb Zarina with Taunt? That's crazy to me. Maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, but if that were me, no chance. Also, the basic idea here is that if I happen to remove both Pokemon here, then Taunt ends and then I can go for Trick Room and then I still have a chance. Because realistically, their final Pokemon isn't going to be so offensive to the point where I can't win if I get some calls right. They switch Basculegion, that's not bad. To Whimsicott, so I do actually have a pretty good win con here. Drop Kick onto the Sylveon. Not bad damage, also not very good damage either. The Life Orb slowly chipping them down. I don't know that they can take another Hyper Voice. Twin Beam, does that crit? Oh my lord, Farigiraf, you're crazy. I mean, the concern is that, well, I haven't taken any damage though. Oh, really? Zarina survives? That's a shame. Because now they can just click Wave Crash till the sun comes down, right? Realistically, we're looking at Wave Crash Taunt. I think my best play is to try and call that and go for the Twin Beam on Zarina, and then hope that I have enough HP on Farigiraf to get the KOs in conjunction with some Sylveon recoil damage on Wave Crash. There's the wave crash. Not onto the right target. We're gonna see taunt next. Yep. I guess the flip side of seeing taunt here is that I get to twin beam for free. So I don't, it's you know, it's annoying to take the taunt in the first place, but getting rid of Zarina does mean that I have a bit of flexibility. One option that I have is to go for the double protect. I think that's probably the wrong option, because if I happen to survive the wave crash, which is not out of the question, it's Scarf Basculegion, then I get damage. Realistically, I won't survive. I don't. But giving away that chance to maybe get a little bit of a hyper voice off would have been not smart, especially when I'm doing that much damage with twin beam, since I actually think I'll probably get them before they get me. This was looking really bad, but I think I take that pretty well. Yeah, honestly, not bad. I should KO here, but even then, if I don't KO, I should still have enough juice to take one more hit. I do KO. Holy, that's some Farigiraf goated gaming. If you love to see that type of stuff, subscribe. Nice. Really, really nice. I mean, you can't really ask for that to go much better. I took a bit of a risk with the taunt. I could have just protected, and that forces them to then go for different plays, and that maybe opens up a safer win con, but overall, not so bad. I expected that to go a lot worse. Overall, the team is a solid out of 10. We saw 3 games where I popped off, but I think that was mostly player diff, not matchup diff, because I think the way I played those matchups was what got me the wins, as opposed to me having particularly good matchups, because most of the time you're kind of looking at that thinking, yeah, I'd probably go down pretty quickly. Most of those matchups, especially the rain one, which was like the most dominant win, I look at that one and I think, yeah, that was the least likely to go my way. Thankfully, I got a bit lucky and it did go my way, but it's a little bit dangerous to play it the way I did. The team is exactly what you think it is. It's hard trick room, and that means that you have to get calls right to win. Again, think back to that rain team where I set up on their Arcaldum for like 4 turns. A bit ridiculous, but I got those calls right and it resulted in me being in a winning position that they could not stop. So I think the team makes sense if nothing else, but wholly volatile. Overall, the team is pretty solid, especially the Sylveon. The Calm Mind makes a pretty big difference here, because most of them run quick attack or hyper beam, but I love being able to set up that win condition where you just click hyper voice like twice, maybe thrice, and then you just win. So props to Sylveon. It's a really good Pokemon. We didn't get to see any Basculegion in this batch of recording, but it's a solid pick. You kind of just bring it when nothing else looks good. It's also nice sometimes just to be able to have that slow, bulky mode with like Dragalge, and then you have like Incineroar, Decidueye, Farigiraf. Oh, that's 5 Pokemon. What am I talking about? I'm so cooked. But like, yeah, if you look at the team broadly, one option that you have is to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, where you bring your like Fire Warrior Grass mode with Trick Room. I don't think that's necessarily the right way to play the team, but sometimes you run into teams where you're like, Decidueye just mollywops the King Gambit and then Basculegion sweeps. That's not an unheard of position. So there is definitely some sauce in the team, but I think overall it is a very volatile and not easy to use team, because again, you have to get a bunch of calls right, and if you don't get the calls right, you struggle so much. It really sucks if you get a call wrong, or if you run into a weird set, or if you get crit or something like that, then a lot of these Pokemon lose their edge. So would I recommend anyone plays this team seriously? No, not really. But I do think it's a fun and interesting team that if you're looking for something slightly different with hard trick room, then this team might be up your alley, because it is hard trick room and it is something different than just Torkoal, Kangaskhan, Farigiraf. I think it applies good theory because I like the idea of clicking flip turn Draco Meteor a bunch. Doesn't really come up as much as I thought it would, because most of the time you just go Draco Meteor hard switch. You'd rather not take that second attack and lose more HP, because even if you're recovering 33%, taking 25% while you switch results in you not really gaining much. So you might as well just hard switch most of the time. So you could probably replace flip turn with like Shadow Ball or one of the coverage options that it has. Maybe it has like an ice type move for like Aerodactyl or something. I'm not sure. Heck, you could even go double dragon move and run like Dragon Pulse, even Dragon Tail. So there are some options. I think flip turn isn't the right option after playing the team a bunch. It just doesn't come up. You know, right when I started the format and played the team, it was an okay move, flip turn, because you could like break out of Perish Traps pretty easy. But now that Perish Trap has basically died off more or less completely, there's not really much advantage to having flip turn when you can mostly just hard switch out of position. So, I mean, other than that, I liked the Farigiraf. It's a set I've been playing for a long time. It's just really good. So I have no notes on that. Offensive Incineroar, I'm a huge fan of it. It was one of those things that I wanted to use for the longest time, was just max attack Incineroar, but I couldn't find a team where it made sense. But it does make sense here, and it feels so good to click max attack Flare Blitz into Pokemon like Raichu that maybe would normally take a Flare Blitz just barely. To watch that Pokemon go down and be like, haha, you're screwed. It's really nice. Now, the loss of bulk is super noticeable. Like, this thing is frail. It dies so fast relative to other Incineroar, so it's not the easiest Incineroar to use. It's also not the most intuitive Incineroar to use, but when it works so well. Decidueye, kind of a no-notes Pokemon. I kind of forget that it has Scrappy all the time. Scrappy is an amazing ability, and it enables so many win conditions that you would normally not have, like being able to triple arrows the Sableye really nice, and if you have the Farigiraf support, you can block the priority Will-O-Wisp, which is super nice. Maybe Sucker Punch isn't the right move, because realistically, outside of Trick Room, the Pokemon that threaten Decidueye don't really care that much about Sucker Punch. Like, one of the big ones was like Mega Staraptor. Like, what does Sucker Punch do outside of Trick Room against Mega Staraptor? Nothing. So maybe you'd rather have like Ice Spinner or Knockoff or something like that allows you to hit ghost types more efficiently when Triple Arrows isn't good enough or when Leaf Blade isn't good enough. Think like Sinistcha, that's the big one, because Triple Arrows is fine into Sinistcha, but if you could click Knockoff, that'd be a lot better. Sylveon, absolute perfection, no notes. Homeboy clicks Calm Mind and then it runs away with the game. It's beautiful. Now, it doesn't actually have to click Calm Mind to be good, but every time that it gets to click Calm Mind, you just know that you're going to pop off massively. It's a super fun Pokemon to play. Missing out on Hyper Beam and Quick Attack is a shame, but at the same time, I kind of just say, you know what? I didn't need it. Maybe I run Hyper Beam over Moonblast if I tried this again, but even then, I'm just like, I'm setting up Calm Minds. If I get 2 or 3 Calm Minds, or even just 1 Calm Mind with a Helping Hand boost on top of it, then Moonblast is just more efficient than a unboosted Hyper Beam. So maybe it doesn't make a big difference, actually. Basculegion is the weak link. You just don't bring it to games very often. Like, you could easily have a different Pokemon on the team, and that would change the game and the team style massively. One option that I was thinking about was Rhyperior, because you could go Iron Ball Rhyperior, and that's slower than literally everything in the game that isn't also holding an Iron Ball for the record. And that actually has some pretty good uses against like hard Trick Room mirror matches where you have to like deal with the opposing Torkoal and stuff like that. Since your Iron Ball Rhyperior can just Earthquake Torkoal into the sun, and then you're looking pretty good. Not a huge synergy with a team that has a few ground weaknesses and all that, but the concept seems nice. The other thing that I was thinking about was kind of just adding a Torkoal of my own to the team, because that synergizes really, really well with the Incineroar. Sun boosted, max attack, Charcoal Flare Blitz does so much damage. So I feel like this is like the Nebula slot. You don't need to have Basculegion in particular to make this team good. It is a great Pokemon generally. I personally put Basculegion on just to round out that Firework Grass Core, and because it went slow enough with the Iron Ball. But again, any Trick Room sweeper kind of works here. You could put an alternate Mega here, to be honest. Like Crabominable looks nice. If you're looking to pick this type of team up, I'd be pretty heavily encouraging that you test out new Pokemon over the Basculegion, since it's not the most intuitive Pokemon on a team like this, especially when you still have to risk things like Sucker Punch and you don't have as much power. Finding those positions where Basculegion gets the free eats KOs that you want isn't so easy. So again, I would recommend that you check out other options as well, since basically it's just not perfect. But that's just me. I've been yapping for a while, so I'm gonna leave it there. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe. I like seeing the comments, so do that more often. That's about it for me. Bye-bye.